What's going on? What's going on? I got to make sure you guys can hear me. Keeping it real in the gospel. Listen, y'all already know that's Otis over there. That's Otis. That's Otis. Keeping it real. I got to keep it short tonight because we got company. So listen, I just want to say thank y'all so much. I know I've been away for a while, but I had to do this improv, keeping it real in the gospel, because I am blessed to have one of my favorites. I'm blessed to have someone I look up to a lot, even in this industry. Anytime she speaks, I'm listening, no matter whether she's on Clubhouse, Facebook, her radio shows, in any one of the markets of when she's speaking. I'm always tuned in because she has a wealth of information in this industry, from radio to radio promoting, radio marketing, radio branding. This is the woman that I always tell people, and I don't like to name drop. So a lot of times, if I say, I know Radio Robyn, and even when I got back from the Spin Awards, I was like, I know Radio Robyn. It was like, girl, you be name dropping. So I have to play a video when she said my name to show y'all that she do know my name and she know me. So again, I am so blessed to have her. I even had her in my van. Y'all don't even know I gave her a ride to the airport. When she asked me, I was like, who, me? You want me? So I am, and again, at the award show last year, her and Amber have a brand. I did not know who brand it was. I did not know who business it was. I didn't know what it was, but I was blessed to be able to sit down, and I just read it, and I just started selling the stuff and saying things. And Amber said, well, you right on the money. I said, well, listen, I just wanted to see it because there wasn't no seats nowhere else. And they came downstairs and just brought me the stuff. It was like, here, this is what it is. And here's your spiel you need to say, and just keep working, keep doing what you're doing. So without further ado, because again, it's like 9 o'clock, we're not going to be before you long, but we want to bring Radio Robyn back so that she can speak about charting, because a lot of people in the industry, that's what they're looking for. So we want her to give y'all her, and we did it on Dope Woman of Radio, but we're going to get a little deep down into it, with her. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. She'll be able to help you out. But again, without further ado, I'm sorry I'm rushing y'all, but it's late. Here goes Radio Robyn.
Hey,
Radio Robyn.
Yeah.
I be telling people I know you.
Yes.
I be like, I know her. I know. And they be like, girl, stop name dropping. I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna, all right. All right. Well, listen, I am so happy to have you on the platform. I'm sorry it's at 9 o'clock at night. We just got off Dope Women of Radio. But listen, we had a conversation and you were getting so deep, and I know that we were on a time span there. Here, I want to just go ahead and just have a conversation about charting. Now, here it is with my take. Again, I was saying on the show, now I do radio servicing as well. I'm not more, you guys, you, Amber, Derek, you guys are more, I tell people from the beginning when I do it, I say, listen, I ain't giving you the Sirius XL. Even though I've been there with Mita, I've been there with Gina, I've sat in there, I've done interviews with them inside the Sirius XM radio, and I have a relationship, but I never guarantee anyone anything when I'm doing radio for them, because I can't guarantee you anything. But I know that, like your conversation, it is important that you invest in yourself, not just pay to the charts. And I think that's the misconception that everyone have, that I'm paying to get on the charts and they're not paying to invest in themselves. So introduce yourself and jump right in, because I know it's late.
Hey, Kenya, I'm glad you invited me, and I was trying to have a conversation, but you can't really talk about this in 1 minute or less. Is really difficult, because charting and independent artists on the chart is a whole topic in itself, and I could talk about it for a long time. So, we started the conversation. I guess the question was, how do you feel about paying your way up the charts? And it's kind of an interesting question, because in order to get on the charts, you need to pay someone. You need to pay a professional to get on the charts. And typically, there's an issue with what are the charts. The industry standard, of course, at the top of the heap is Billboard. There's Media Base. And then there's a whole lot of other charts. And for many independent artists, let me say this about the charts. Charts have gotten a bad rap, especially in the past few years. Just when people talk about charting. And I think that's why the question came up, because people tend to think that charting has gotten a bad rap, because, and I understand why. Over the past 5 years, the landscape has changed tremendously, just the past 5 years. And I've been doing pretty much major radio promotion. When I say major, I mean number ones on Billboard and Media Base for about 5 years now. And then I have songs on all the other charts as well, and everything in between. And, for a lot of independent artists, I really want to choose my words wisely, because people take clips of what I say and they start to share them in a negative fashion sometimes. So I want to be careful, but do know that landing on the charts, it just kind of represents a dream come true for a lot of people. And so for a lot of independent artists, especially independent artists, and for major artists too, I mean, just recently, we had people like Vashawn Mitchell was number one the last couple of weeks on the Billboard and Media Base charts. I mean, you have major artists. Pastor Mike is number one this week on both of those charts. So they relish in getting those kind of chart positions, and they are proud of them, and they express how proud they are of achieving such a pinnacle. So it's not a bad thing to want to chart. Let me just start by saying that. A lot of people use the words chase charts. It's not a bad thing to want to be on the charts, because what it does, it kind of recognizes your hard work. It recognizes your dedication. It recognizes a word you said earlier, your investment in your career. And it's a noble thing. So let me just start there by taking the badness off of the word charting, and just make it a positive thing. It's a good thing to want to chart. What is charting? Charting is simply getting your music played on as many radio stations as possible, by many as radio shows, or whatever you got to do to get your music to the audience that you created it for. It's just that simple. You create, you go in the studio, you invest in a producer, you invest in engineers and all the things that it takes to get a song to market. Now you want people to hear it. So radio is that medium to get people to hear it. It is the top medium. People can say, it's this and it's that, but radio is still very important. One spin can reach thousands of people at once. Just one spin in the right station, and then multiple spins, and we call that rotation, can get it to more and more people every single day. So you created this music for people to hear it. So how better to hear it than on the radio? So let me say, I just wanted to kind of take the badness out of charting and paying to get your record charted. Paying to get your record charted means that I'm paying a radio promoter, a radio professional, to get my record. Pastor Mike and Vashawn Mitchell, they didn't go calling up radio stations saying, play my music. They had a hired radio promoter that does their job, that does their due diligence, services and calls and follows up, and all the things that radio promoters do in order to get their music played and get their music to get more spins, which causes it to go up the charts. It's really not that complicated of a mission. So let me say that. You got any questions so far?
No, keep going. Now, let's just say this, and I know that you always say this, that a lot of times radio promoters now, and again, I'm seeing where I'm receiving a lot of music because I do own a 24/7 internet radio station. You see these radio promoters, they're just like sending the music out. And well, I don't really care. This is my station. I can say what I want to say. A lot of times you get this music, it is not tagged. Their IRC code is not embedded. The covers are not there. And I think that now we're at a pivotal place where radio and education is not going together. You're able to mount this platform tonight and give us a wealth of knowledge. And I think that, and I mean, just stop me if I'm wrong, do radio promoters still need to be educated in the industry? Or is it just like how they are now? They just say, I want to be a radio promoter, and I have the list of radio announcers, and I'm just going to start sending out music, and that's okay.
Now, your question is it okay to do that? To just
is it okay? Should the radio promoters have the education of the industry?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what any industry. I mean, we're talking the plumber. So I can call Johnny and Pookie from down the street to fix my faucet, or I can call a professional plumber. It's my decision on who I'm going to call and the results that I'm going to get. Now, Pookie could do a good job. Not saying Pookie can't do a good job, because he can. I'm from the hood, so he can do a good job. But the people at Roto Rooter, they're going to come with their uniforms on. They're going to come with all the tools, and they're going to come with the guarantee, and they're going to come. I know that they're going to fix it properly, because that is their profession. That's what they do. Now, here's the thing about radio promoters. Everybody got to start somewhere. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. And it's up to you as the person receiving the music to determine if that radio promoter is worth their weight in salt. It's up to you to determine that as the person receiving the music. Now, typically I work for, I do servicing and I do radio promotions, but anything we send out, it's going to come right. So you determine based on how, some people send MP. I get at least probably a dozen servicings minimum every single day from people, all different levels of people. Some are good, some are bad. Some just send me the MP3 and say, can you play this on your station? So, some of them send an MP4, some send an M4A. It depends on you and what you invest in. If I invest in the Roto Rooter professional plumbers, number one, I'm going to pay more. Just because of that name, I'm going to pay more, and I'm going to expect more, and I'm going to receive more. I'm going to expect that they're going to do a good job because of their reputation. So you, as a person receiving the music, you make that final call. Can you have a radio station? You decide. Typically, stations that are part of the media base and billboard panels deal only with the professional radio promoters, simply
Right.
because, and I said this on the Dope Room Radio, is because they have a reputation of delivering quality music from major artists, period. So, instead of looking through those dozen emails, I'm going to see an email or two that I'm going to probably open because I know that person has a reputation. So, but there are lots of internet stations. There are lots of stations in this country that may not be familiar with that kind of process. So again, the it's not just a one all be all. It's not every radio promoter is not created equal. Every independent artist is not created equal. Every radio servicer is not created equal. So it's up to you to do your due diligence and determine whose music you want to play. Is that music going to fit my format, etc.? So again, anybody who's investing in their music and getting into radio, you got to understand that the journey to any chart is going to be resource intensive. And I'm talking about money and time. It's going to require strategic planning. How long do you have to work this record to radio? And again, most importantly, you need to have time and you need to have money. You got to have both of those. So, and you got to have some knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes. You got to be available. There's so many things I could go on, but I hope I answered that particular question.
How long should a song, like I know a lot of times they put out music, and how long should we service a song? Now, like a lot of times, I had a group, they put out a song last year, there was no traction. And the group is saying, hey, let's do this song again. Should we do CPR to a song? I mean, after a year? Or should it say, you know what, maybe you want to go with something else? Because I know the relationship is important when you're a radio servicer, because again, if you see my name, you'll be like, oh, this is Kenya. Let me open this up. The relationships that some people have. I know a lot of music is opened up and answered and responded because of that. But how long should we make the attempt to service one song?
There is no limit. There is no how long. I would say the 2-year mark is pretty much the end. There's a song that I'm working right now that has been in the top 30 on Billboard and Media Base. You ready? for 40 weeks. For 40 weeks. And there are other songs on the chart that have been on the chart on the top 30. And I'm talking about top 30 Billboard and Media Base. When I say on the chart, I mean those charts. And there's a lot of other charts. And then I have a song that's been on the gospel station charts for 12 weeks at number 1.
Whoa.
And so gospel station charts is a whole nother charting system that I have mad respect for what they've created over there. There's 69 stations represented. Kenya's station is on that chart. My station is on that chart, and in many others, 69 stations represented there. And I have a song that has been number 1 for 12 weeks on that chart. But that same song has been on Billboard Media Base for, I think it's been about 20 some weeks now, that particular song. So again, there is no limit. It depends on you, the person that's working the song. It depends on the artist, how much time and resources they have to invest. And if they believe in their song, every station counts, just one station at a time. It's important that they, one station at a time, get your song, delivers it to their audience. And now you have new listeners of the music that you've created. So there is no end all be all. It could be 8 weeks. It could be 12 weeks. It could be 3 months, 4 months. I would say nobody should enter into a major campaign for less than 6 months because it takes time. It's just one station at a time. So again, I have a song that's been on the charts, on the top 30 of Billboard and Media Base gospel for 40 weeks. Okay. So
that is listen, that is great information. So listen, I see that everybody's like jumping in between I'm logging into 8 platforms right now. We're rolling on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and a couple of my pages. If you guys have any questions, just go ahead and tap in. I see Robert Craig have joined us. Connie Burf, Connie, Drina Penn, Big Ben, Ricky DeRay from Miami, Lynette Day of the Sea Lord Seas, Dr. James Patterson. I see you. I love you. Samaris, another soloist out of South Florida. Michael Lee, I already know Michael Lee. We fight all the time. Michael Lee, the one who actually, and I know he probably is not logged in. It's 9 o'clock and he's probably at the gym taking pictures. I always say Michael Lee.
He said the gym taking pictures.
I say, Michael, are you really at the gym? Or are you just taking pictures? Because what are you doing? But I remember, and I always tell this story, when I first started to want to be in this industry and I wanted to service, because back then, like you said, 5 years ago, we didn't have as many radio services as we do now. You know,
but we didn't have this much music.
Right, as we do now. So
let me say this. Let me say this. Over the pandemic, I think the music doubled because people were, at home and they were able to contemplate and think, and I've been sitting on this music. The amount of servicings I get, at least some days I have a dozen emails by 12 o'clock on one day. Okay, same day. So if you're getting them, I'm getting them. Radio people are gathering up who's on the radio and they are sending them. Again, there are several levels I could talk about. Hey, Micah, I could talk about just the whole servicing aspect for an hour. But let me just say this. There is an abundance of music. There's no shortage of music. So understand that independent artists, when somebody just throws emails out, doesn't do follow-up, and you're not going to get on the charts that way. Okay. The gospel music industry, like any other industry, is very competitive. It's very challenging, especially, let me say this, and I underline this with 10 lines, especially for independent artists. Reaching the high positions on Billboard and on Media Base is particularly difficult in this climate. And let me say this, and this is the reason why, and I've heard this a million times, these charts often, and they do to this day, they favor artists that have already have industry connections. They're already a well-established artist. And if you're not either of those, if you're not a household name, babe? Micah said, babe, he must be talking to you, right?
He talking to Connie. He ain't talking to me because I just told the people he go to the gym to take pictures. He pay a monthly subscription to go into LA Fitness to do a photo shoot. So he talking to me.
And for independent artists, a lot of them have substantial promotional budgets. And so if you have that and you go in like that, understanding the climate, it's a business. The music industry is a music business. It's the music business of music, a business of radio. And so understand that you're not paying to get your record on a chart. Again, you got to have a budget for what you're going to do. You can't come into it just throwing a song out and saying, everybody needs to play my song, because everybody's got a great song. They think they have a great song. If you went in the studio and you did all that you had to do, you think your song is pretty awesome. And you think your song is worthy. Everybody comes into the situation, to the conversation, to the table, thinking that they have a top 30 hit. Everybody. Okay. But again, it's very competitive and it's very challenging. I think independent artists don't understand the volume of music that's out there and why your song has to really be a standout song in order to make it on these charts. Because guess what? The top 100 songs, the top 100, I would say the top 200 songs, all top 200 songs have a paid radio promoter behind them. All of them, no exceptions. They all have somebody behind them that got them to that point. The standard has been the top 500. So when you make it to the top 500, you're doing a little something. You make it to the top 400, 300, 200 means you've paid someone and you've been doing this for a minute. 100 is kind of the new top 30, because ultimately when you have artists like, Vashawn Mitchell and Pastor Mike and I could go on with the artists, you got the Smokey Norfolks and the Erica Campbell, you got all these folks on the charts. They keep coming out with new music every year. And when they come out with a song every year, what you going to do? Guess what they're going to do? They're going to move faster, because they are household names, because those artists, not because they're household names necessarily, but because their audience is familiar with them. When I get on the air and I say, I'm about to play this new Donnie McClurkin, guess who's not going to turn the radio off? There are a lot of people that are fans of Donnie McClurkin. But if I say, Kenya C. Willard, no shade to Kenya. If I say Kenya, they're going to say, who that? Let me turn to so-and-so. I'm going to have to do a whole lot of talking to get people to stay. I'm going to have to do some tricks to get people to stay past that. So what I do is I don't promote Kenya. I promote Donnie, and I squeeze Kenya in between. And if Kenya's got a great song and I back sell it, then people now haven't had an opportunity to hear Kenya. But Kenya is not going to increase my numbers just by saying her name, because she doesn't have a fan base like Donnie McClurkin or Vashawn Mitchell or Karen Clark Sheard or Dorinda Clark Cole or Pastor Mike Jr. They're not, Kenya's not everybody's favorite artist yet. So Kenya has to continue to create great music so that she becomes everybody's favorite artist. So again, there's aiming for chart positions is very commendable. And I want to keep saying that, because I don't want people to think bad about getting their music on the charts. But it's equally important to also explore other opportunities for music promotion. You got social media. And I see a lot of people trying to get up the charts, but they don't have any social media. Of course, there's streaming. There's live performances. There's all kinds of other stations besides those 41 stations that represent the panel. People, how about those 69, like Kenya stations? People want the top 30 on Billboard and Mediabase. What about, let's start with gospel station charts or gospel top 40 or some of the other notable charts, because I don't think any chart is a bad chart. If your music is on it, somebody's playing it, and amen. So let me stop talking. Ask another question.
No, I was just, and you know what? You hit so many great points that I hope that everyone that's on, because most of the people on are from Florida and they're listening. And I say it sometimes. Gerard.
Hey, Gerard.
sometimes you have to hear from someone else to believe it's true. And I don't know. I've been screaming the same thing. Like back to Michael Lee, when I first wanted to do radio, because I was just like intrigued by it. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. I want to do this. And Michael was putting out um Forever. He had already put out Victory. And I love Victory. And I went to this thing and I thought about radio promoting. He put out Victory and I was in love with Victory. He put out Forever. And I said, Michael, let me promote your single. Michael said, Kenya, you cannot practice with my song. You cannot practice with my career. He said, oh God, don't tell this story. No, this story was the reason why. So you know what
He
happened?
said, oh God, don't tell this story.
When Michael Lee told me that, I remember it was probably like 7 years ago. It was maybe a little longer than that. Because Pepe Hendricks was still living. And he said to me, I'm not gonna let you practice with my career. And I promised God that one day he was gonna call me. I said, one day you're gonna call me. And he was like, okay, well, today you're not practicing with my career. And at that time, I at that point started dedicating everything to traveling. Whenever there was a workshop, whenever there was anything, I went to the GMWA. I went to the gym. I stayed every day, went to every course, every class. I started being a part of organizations. I was a part of the Alliance, the Gospel Workshop of America. And I know you sent me the last thing to be, to get onto your workshops. I go so that I can learn the industry. So now when Micah is getting ready to go somewhere, and I'm like, Micah, I don't feel like going. He's like, you're going to go. You got to get your ticket. I'm like, Micah, I don't feel like traveling. So anywhere he goes now, he puts me in his pocket because the same little girl who he told, you're not going to practice with my career. Now he's like, I need you with me. So everyone has to
relationships are I said that in the Dope Women in Radio tour, is that relationships are the currency to any industry, not just the music industry, but particularly the music industry. But it's all about the relationships you have. And so can I talk just a little bit about radio promoters? You mentioned that, and let me talk a little bit about the importance of radio promoters, because and a lot of times radio promoters get a bad rap. But again, just like my comparison to the Roto-Rooter plumber to Pookie down the street plumber, you have to know who you're hiring. You have to understand who you're hiring and the kind of relationships they're going to cultivate for you. So again, a lot of music is being serviced, a lot of it. And there are probably 12 to 15 promoters that are promoting the top 40. So the top 40 songs on the chart right now, either chart, are represented by about a dozen people, period. And those,
we know their name. We know their names.
And I happen to be part of one of those teams. So understand, we know who they are, and they come at a steep price because they're of their ability to get a song to a certain place. And a lot of times people say, I'm not paying all that money for a radio promoter. Well, you don't have to. There are other ways, but there's no other way to get in that space outside of the relationships that those dozen to 15 people have. And that's why they're able to get those records there, not because of the record itself, but mostly because of their relationships. The relationships that those promoters have with radio. So, you need to have someone who understands the landscape. And you said it earlier, this thing changes, and it's don't just change every few years. It's changing every month. Things are different. People come in and out of radio stations. People change positions at radio stations. And so if you're catering to that 41 stations, then you have to have somebody that's on the inside, because if you don't, you're not able to get past that. So the gatekeepers of the airwaves, we're talking about, music directors in some cases. Sometimes it's the program directors. Somebody got to know who that is. Who do you need to call? Who do you contact in order to get your record on? Who is the person that's going to actually play your record. Sometimes independents, as somebody who represented a Billboard chart at some point, I play independent artists, and there are some of those charting stations that do play independent artists, but they're not going to play Kenya C. Wheeler. So you can try to call them, and who are you? They don't know you. So they may say, okay, send me your song. But the likelihood of them adding your song and rotating your song is very low. The opportunity you may make, but again, everybody has to start somewhere, and so those relationships have to be cultivated, and they can be over time because everybody had to start somewhere. But some of these radio promoters have been doing this for decades. You're not going to beat them out because they already there. They have relationships with these folks. Some of the radio, the people are people's god kids, and they are good friends and have been down through the years. I know some of the radio people that are in the seats. I've known when their kids were born or when they got married, and all of those are kind of relationships that continue to be cultivated. Be kind to everyone. The Janet, and that's true. Mike is right. That could be. So again, relationships are key, and it's the quality of those relationships. So it's important, Kenya, that you go to places like the Stellars. So Micah, again, at the Stellars, he was hobnobbing. He was, and the artists that I had at the Stellars, everybody that I knew, I introduced my artist to. Hey, program director, this is so-and-so. If they hadn't met them already. Hey, program director, this is so-and-so. And now they can establish their own relationship with that particular program director. Again, I can't emphasize enough that the currency of the music business and any business is relationship. And it's important that you have a radio promoter that already has those relationships that can help you leverage those relationships, right? I mean, when the first time I actually talked to Micah was through a promotions representative, and got to chat it up. But again, that relationship was established via a radio promotions professional. You got to have these relationships are so key, and you can't diss them. You can't think that that's not something that you have to do. If you really want to succeed, then you need to cultivate. And so there's Robert Craig. See, he says he met somebody, but I see him doing what he does. I see him playing the music. But again, it behooves artists to establish relationships with people like him who can get your music exposed to as many people as possible. So again, your radio promoter is your relationship guru. He or she is going to make sure that the people that play your music are going to have a relationship with you. It's up to you to cultivate those relationships, and that's what they
Radio
have.
Robyn,
You don't.
Not to interrupt you. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Here it is, and let me just say this: I met Connie Burke at the Spin Awards several years back. She was the dope woman in radio. I think, yeah, she was the dope woman in radio. I think that was the year her, Drina, and all of them were the dope women in radio. And me and Connie immediately hit it off right then. Now you got to understand something, and I always promote the Spin Awards. People say, "Why do you promote the Spin Awards?" I promote the Spin Awards because that's where radio meet. That is our family reunion where all the radio announcers are in a room. I've literally seen an artist go to one of the shows and sing, and before they can get off the stage, we're asking for their music to play their music. I mean, they're like, "Hey, send me that," and they're there and they're building relationships with radio announcers, giving us things to bring back home. And what happens is, if you're going to invest in things, I always tell you, invest in going to the Spin Awards at least the Friday and the Saturday, so that you can meet us where we are, because that's where we're at. I met Radio Robyn at the Spin Awards. And
nope, I met you at the gym.
No, I met you at the Spin Awards first, right?
Nope, I met you at the gym.
Okay, at the gym. Okay, but we was at a conference.
Again, yep, somewhere where we're getting education and doing networking and education. That is where I met most people in the industry. That's why I met them face to face. Now I may have talked to some people on the phone or whatever, but face to face has always been, whether it's Stellars or Doves or Gin or this or GMWA. That is how. And so that is, if you're an artist, if you're an independent artist, your artistry is your business, and you should be able to write off education, those kinds of expenses, so that you can go to these events and you can learn and network, establish relationships, learn the industry, and gain resources. That is really the only way that you can do this. Our veterans having a conference. Anybody that can get to North Carolina, you need to go. The Gin is coming up, Doves, Stellars. Then there's the Spin Awards. There's so many opportunities, GMWA, for you as independents to get in the room and establish and cultivate the relationships that you already have, so you can understand how this thing works. And it continues to evolve. So every year there's something different. And so you can't say, okay, well, I went 5 years ago, I don't need to go anymore. If you really want to get your music to where it needs to be, then you have to learn and you have to understand. And you got to have relationships, key relationships in the industry. Important.
I was at the Dove. The Dove had the Pandora classes, and when they everybody else was in Tennessee shopping, I'm like, I'm going to all the classes. I went to the Pandora, the information, and then we went to a brunch the next, the day of the show. Kurt Franklin came in and he said something. He says, I need you. You don't need me. Kurt Franklin said that. He said, I need you, because it was, it was all the radio announcers and they were in the brunch. It was radio announcers, CEOs, the music industry was in the brunch at the Dove Awards. Kurt Franklin and several other major artists, they walked into the room, and me, I'm loud, but I'm very, anybody that know I'm loud, but I'm shy at the same time, which is, it probably don't, it's the oil and water. And they're walking around encouraging us to take selfies with them. They're walking around, hey, how are you doing? Giving us mugs. And, I came on with so much stuff. I'm like, I can't take all this on the airplane, So, and like Kurt Franklin said, I need you guys. I need your help in order to succeed, because, your radio. And what people fail to understand is artists will put out a single. And once they put that single out, they'll act like they're 50 grand and won't even speak to you. They'll act 50 grand. They won't even speak to you. They'll walk past you and you're like, wow. And then I'm thinking like this, like I'm going to the major things. I went to Sirius XM radio, went in, I met Mita and everybody, and I'm in there with them. And they were like, and they were, but then you got artists that live up the street from me that won't even, because they say, oh, I'm an independent artist.
Oh.
Like, yeah. So you have to remain humble when you're in this industry, because word travel. Because what about Paul Connie? Send a shout out to Connie. They're having the Quartet Music Awards June 29th.
Again, there's another opportunity. If you're a quartet, if you sing that subgenre of music, you need to be there. Period.
Right.
Blank, period.
You need to be there. We have to you have to learn to build relationships. You have to learn to get to know people for yourself. You have to learn this for yourself, because even though I love to teach you, even though I will log on at night sometimes just like this and just start talking about business stuff, because this is what I love to do. But what happens is I always tell people, come go with me, so that what I'm telling you, you can hear again. And you can be like, oh, I heard that already. It's okay, because I sit in classes with everybody every year. And it may be the same information, but guess what? You know what? It's refreshing me. It's refreshing me and refreshing me and refreshing me. And I'm learning. But at the same time, here it is. I can say, hey, Robyn, how you doing? Hey, this person, how you doing? And that's important.
It is important, because you never, Micah said it earlier, the janitor might be the PD next year. You do not know where people are going to land. And it just really, especially as believers, it pays for us to stay connected, because again, we're stronger together. in this kingdom building that we're doing, whether it's quartet, whether it's choir, no matter what it is, you got to maintain those relationships. And Micah just said it. You got to maintain those relationships even when you don't have a song. I can tell you how many people hit me up in my inbox when they have a song. I haven't heard from you in 2 years, but all of a sudden, hey, how you doing? So I already know what's coming. You're about to tell me that you have a song that you want me to play, but that's not cool. You don't want to be treated like that, where me and you was cool while you had a song, you came to the studio, sat down in an interview, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't heard from you. You haven't even liked any of my Facebook posts or inboxed me and said happy birthday or nothing. You have connection, but then all of a sudden inbox me when you have a song. You just say, hey, hey, Rob, how you doing? I already know what's coming because I haven't heard from you. So again, what social media does do is it allows us to maintain those relationships when we couldn't 10, 15, 20 years ago. We could maintain relationships. They were only at GMWA. They were only at these large conferences at the Doves and the Stellars. That's all we had. We didn't have all these other things that in between. We had those. And now you have social media. You have the opportunity to stay connected to everybody in radio. Once you've done an interview somewhere, if you've done an interview with Kenya, then you need to be following Kenya. When Kenya is doing something, you need to say, hey, Kenya, good job. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Whatever. Maintain the relationship and don't just hit up Kenya's inbox when you have a song. So I think Jared said the same thing that happens to him too.
Micah is causing problems. Micah is going to minister
on live. Kenya, you are coming to assist me at Essence Fest. He said so on record.
Well, here it is, because Michael called me and said, we're going to Essence. And I said, I'm not going anywhere. Oh. And he says, yes, you are. And started sending me airline stuff. Oh. So, yeah, so much that you don't have a choice. With Michael, if you don't feel good, rest on the plane.
Hey, look, he put the pressure on.
I don't go anywhere where there's no Dunkin' Donuts, and I don't think people really don't understand that. And I think that
anywhere there's no Dunkin' Donuts? There's no airport.
Donuts in Louisiana. There are no Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
And that's why I don't go to Louisiana. And and anyone should know me that knows me well enough to know that coffee is my gasoline. My body will shut down without Dunkin' Donuts. We went to New York for the Sirius XM tour. And I was like, Mike, I got to go to bed. I can't. I was like, just weak. And the lady said, you said you was weak? Yeah, my body shuts down when I don't have no coffee.
Oh my God.
Literally, I think my doctor said it's an addiction. I tried to stop drinking it. It didn't work well.
You said you tried to stop, it didn't work?
My body shut down and I slept for like a whole day. And and I'm very serious. I do not go to Louisiana. That's why I haven't been to Essence, because there is no Dunkin' Donuts. Some parts of Georgia, Valdosta does not have Dunkin' Donuts. I will not go where there is. I looked it up.
There were places that didn't have Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, it is. She said, "How about buy some Dunkin' Donuts?" You can't take that on the plane. I tried that, and the lady told me
you can take coffee on a plane,
but you only can have a certain amount. They throw your water bottles away.
No, but before you get to the gate, I mean, you got to get through.
We don't have it in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
we don't have. They have Starbucks in Fort Lauderdale. They don't have.
They don't have Dunkin' Donuts in the.
They have Dunkin', right? Yeah, we went to New York, and then I said, Michael, I need to get. So, the lady, I said, ma'am, can you please tell me, where there's a Dunkin' Donuts? I'll walk. So the one lady's like, it's 8 blocks. I'm like, okay, which way? And the lady's like, no, it's one this way, 2 blocks. I walked 2 blocks down the street and I sipped on it. And I was like, come on, let's go. And he was like, there's really something wrong with you. So every morning we had to be up and be at different places, like really early. So I would get up 5 o'clock in the morning and walk to the Dunkin' Donuts. Mind you, this is when it's like 30 degrees outside. I would just put on my coats. And he's like, hey, it's 30 degrees out here. I was like, I don't care. I walked 2 blocks down the road to get my coffee, to get back so that we can get ready for a Uber. It has to be Dunkin' Donuts. So Michael keeps saying Essence, Y'all pray for me, because if I do go,
I'm praying for you.
I'm
Go with
probably
them.
gonna melt. You know, I'm probably gonna
Anybody got any
melt.
questions out there before
I'm
I
sorry,
go?
we talking
Because I
about
gotta jump.
coffee. Yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go watch the news. I'm a stickler about 10 o'clock news. It is
All right. Well,
important to
we're
me.
almost there. Any questions out there?
So we have Amara Grace, which is an artist out of South Florida. I know that she's putting a new single out, if I'm not mistaken. Lynette Day and the new Sea Lord Seas, they just put it out. I'm actually working that single. It's the new Sea Lord Seas. She's a quartet group out of Miami, Florida. I want to send a shout out to Michael Lee. You have his new single, right? And he's putting out. It actually is coming out in July. Pastor Scrappy, which is CEO of One Body. Just want Gerard home. He has the plethora of music, and sometimes we just go.
Come on, Gerard, with the plethora. Gerard got a plethora.
But I love him dearly. I love him dearly.
But I knew it was a but coming. You just canceled out the love.
My favorite song is Mighty God. I don't care what he play.
Mighty God by who?
By Gerard. It's Mighty God.
Oh, that's your song. Okay.
God.
You don't
So
care what
he
else
always I don't care what he do. He could do it. The same thing with Michael Lee. He can sing all his songs, but Forever be my favorite song. I'm like, yeah, it's good, but I still love Forever. Yeah, I only love Mighty God.
I need you to play Clap My Way though.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see it on I didn't see it on your chart, can you?
Well, let's just say this. Let's say this. I'm just
saying. I didn't see it.
Let me say this.
I
want grace, because I did share a post the other day. What happens is I changed service. I used to be with another service, but I have Broadcast Matrix. We're re-releasing the station because I really been out of it for a little while. I've been under the weather. I've been under the weather, and I haven't been actually working radio, doing anything. So everybody in my personal life know I have been a little under the weather. I think this is everybody asked me today, like, you really going to go live? People are asking me, how are you feeling while you're sitting there? I'm like telling them I'm okay. I'm doing good. So I am up this week, and we're going to get everything added. We're adding Michael's music. We're going back to throwback music.
I didn't see it.
I know. Why would you tell Michael? Why would you tell Michael I got his music? Michael know where I live. Oh Lord Jesus, you don't understand.
I'm just saying, you've been serviced.
I push. He be trying to push my head like this, and I be windmilling.
She's been serviced, Micah. I'm just saying. She has been.
Robyn, you starting trouble now.
And I can see what she play right now.
Oh my God, she just got me together. Listen,
I need you to go fix that. Micah, don't knock on the door, Micah. Give her some time. I need you to give her some grace, because Micah song is top 20 on the gospel station chart already. So I'm gonna need y'all gospel station charts, folks.
Yes, but before the song actually went out to everybody, I did hear the song, because that's my people.
I know that's your people. I just need you to play.
I'm sorry, Micah.
Don't knock on the door, Micah. I need you not to do that.
He know I live at my mama's house. He know my mama will shout, and she'll look feisty, and I have a dog. He gonna come there and sit down and ask her what he want to eat.
Any other questions? Anybody got any questions on radio? And
yeah, let's get up out of here.
Sing and all of that. If you don't, then we can rock and roll.
All right, listen, we're gonna let you go. If you ever have anything you want to talk about, like you want to get out, like to my audience, let me know. I have no problem with loading this up. I can come to the studio any day and do this, because I think this is what's needed. Where artists needs the information. I think that this is good that they're having a one-on-one with Radio Robyn, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. I want to thank you for stepping on.
Just understand, independent artists that are listening, that the space is very crowded right now. There is lots of music. There is no shortage. So it's not personal when people don't play your music. But you saw the tactic I just employed with Kenya C. Wheeler. And I said, I'm going to need you to play that. That is the kind of aggressiveness that radio promoters exercise in getting music played. And so, again, I understand that it is a hefty investment. A radio promoter is a very, very hefty investment. But the reason that the investment its value continues to rise is because of because there's so much music out there that somebody's got to get through. And my philosophy, they have to play somebody's music. It might as well be mine. So it might seem steep. The price might seem steep. Somebody's texting me. The value that is delivered by a skilled radio promoter cannot be understated. But again, make sure that you vet your radio promoter. Make sure that your radio promoter, whoever it is you choose, because Kenya addressed this early on in the conversation, make sure that you know who they are, what they can do, and if their objectives align with yours. Because if not, if you're getting them for $200 a month because you don't want to pay $2,000 a month, make sure that the $200 is what you need. Okay. All right. Was that Purvis? Make sure that the $200 promoter can deliver what you need in the time. He wants to sing, but we're not gonna let him sing tonight.
Okay, but, we'll bring him back next week. Next Thursday, Purvis. I'm gonna get you back.
Yeah, just make sure that the amount that you invest matches your objective. Okay, that's just so important. Make sure you vet them and you understand what they have done, not 5 years ago, but what they have done in the last 5 months. Find out what they're doing right now. If you're trying to get the top 30 and they don't have a top 100, you're not going to get the top 30 in 4 months. So with the $200, and sometimes people balk at $200, but the average for a radio promoter now is around $1,500. That's the average. That's the average. Okay, minimum $1,000 a month, and for at least 6 months. So Gerard said it, budget. It's important that you budget if you really want your music to get to radio. And for people like Broderick Purvis to play your music. I'm not even going to go down that road. But yeah.
We love you,
I appreciate you, Gerard plays my music, so.
They're saying that Broderick don't have his new record.
He hasn't. Don't worry about it, Micah.
Okay.
Don't worry about
it. You heard what she said, because she service said.
Don't worry about it.
I'm only doing the footwork.
Again, about radio promoters, you have to be strategic in certain things. You got to you make sure your promoter is strategic. Sometimes people think, when you service a record, everybody needs to have it and start playing it at the same time. Understand that there's a strategy in getting music played over time and getting music charted. So don't think that, because Kenya gonna get on Micah record at some point, but there's already 12 GSC stations on it. So I'm grateful. Again, make sure that
I'm gonna drop it. Matter of fact, as soon as we get off.
She about to cut me off because I keep throwing her under the table. No, can you?
Micah's literally 5 minutes away from me, so I don't need Micah.
Mike, I already told him not to do it, so he better not do it. If he does it, then yeah. But again, it's all strategy, Micah. One station at a time. It's all strategy.
Yeah.
So while Kenya's not, there's every station on GSC is 69 stations on there. Every station is not playing it now, but every station will be playing it at some point. And guess what? It takes me 2 months to add a song. Because of the line that you have of music that's going to go in. And typically radio promoters don't just add 10 songs a week. They slowly move them in. So just you have to be patient. You have to have time and you have to have resources. One station at a time.
All right. So for everybody who I work with, and I tell you I do things strategically, I just don't drop to all 1,200 stations that's in my constant contact.
And if you do, only a very few of them are going to play it.
Right. I tell them that.
People, I don't just play songs. I told you I get a dozen songs before noon. I can't even open that many emails and listen to that many songs in that time. So understand that's the kind of onslaught of music that there is out there. So that's why you have to be different and you have to be ready.
Right. We're going to bring her back with some other topics. Y'all inbox me with some topics that y'all would like to know. I know that And again, when y'all see Radio Robyn at events, y'all just really, really, really walk up to her and say, "Hey, Radio Robyn, I saw you on Keeping It Real in the Gospel, and y'all make me look good and feel good that y'all saw over here on the live and on the replay." Again, it's 9:49, and everybody who's a friend of mine know that at 10 o'clock I have to watch the news.
All right.
No matter where I'm at, I have to watch the news.
What you watch, Kenya?
I watch the channel, the local news, because
the local news. Okay.
I watch the news at 5 o'clock. I watch the news at 10 o'clock, and I watch it in the morning. Just like I just told my neighbor, my neighbor, he built his backyard to be like this beautiful place where people came and had parties. So he decided to put up a fence so I couldn't watch his party. So I went and bought a drone. I said, "You're going to stop me from watching your party?" "No, you're not." I went and bought me a drone. So now I fly over his parties.
You drone over to the party. Okay.
I drone in my backyard. I'm in my backyard. So
but you can see the.
Correct, because I want to see. He has an event space in his backyard. And he has wonderful parties. Like, he had a Sweet 16. He had all this stuff. So he's built his backyard out to be an event space, and he rents it out for that. But he didn't have a fence. So I would sit in the backyard and watch the parties and just be like, "Wow, this is really cool." So then he put a fence up. So now I just take that drone up in your room, and then I just watch it. So I'll teach about it. So yeah, so the 10 o'clock news is important to me. But listen, if you guys have any questions, you guys be sure to reach out, inbox me, and we'll be back. Also, don't forget to like and share. Radio Robyn's always on Instagram. She's on Facebook. So if you guys see her post a post, just go ahead and engage it. Do not like it. People don't understand that like button will get you. Well, Facebook will say something about you are community violations. I keep telling y'all this: do not use that like button. Use the heart, because I'm sorry, this is a whole nother show. Here it is. If you're using the like and then you try to share it, once you do that like, it's going to tell you that you are a robot. Use the heart button. Facebook wants you to show that you're not some type of robot. When you use the like, that's because you just have to hit a button. So when people say to me, "Oh, I shared your flyer, but it said you can't," I say, "I've told y'all to stop using that like button. That like button is being used by intelligences, whatever."
So you're saying you got to use the love.
You got to use the heart, because when you use you know how you go on the like. So there's bots out there, and a lot of people are paying for bots. So then when you try to share something or do something, they're like sending you this message: "Oh, it seems like you're trying to do this for likes." But it's your engagement. Your engagement is very important, that you use the heart. That's why when I see people that be liking my stuff, I want to just remove them from my page, because then it makes it more accessible for me. So when you share my stuff, it looks like I got bots on my thing. And you have to understand, Facebook is now paying out on the 15th. Facebook is paying good money. So a lot of people are buying things to enhance their social.
I get it.
Here it is. If I bought it, the bot is going to hit like before they hit the heart. If you hit the heart, that means you have to push it, pop up, and then push it. So especially when you are a person who, like myself, like Gerard, all of us have a professional page, you're going to keep getting dinged. So don't like none of my stuff, please. Can y'all just heart it? Go over and heart Robyn stuff. Like her on Instagram. She does a lot of stuff on Instagram. Follow her on Instagram. Guys on the live and replay, show her tonight that what we're doing, that it gained, the hand stuff following. And if you need her, call her. I'm telling you, she's really good. I've been following her for years. She do a good thing, and she'll make you play Michael's song. So when they get ready to come out, y'all screaming too. Because now I gotta go over here and add Michael's song.
It's all you gotta do is add one song. I'm not asking you to add anybody else.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining. You saying I should add anybody else.
Look, that's the work that I'm working that out.
Oh, okay. Well, that system is coming down in about 2 weeks, but I'm going to add the song to that system, and I'm going to put it on both of them, so you'll be playing on Broadcast Matrix and the other one, so you can hear it on, because that's what's on the charting station. So we're going to take care of that. Love y'all.
What's on the charters? What's on Gospel Station charts?
That's what's linked to my website right now. We're changing everything and going to, there's a radio service company called Broadcast Matrix.
Okay, whatever Gospel Station charts is monitoring, that's where I need it.
Right. So I'm going to take you over there. That's being monitored. Love you. Listen, it's 9:54. I'm gonna let you go. I love you. Let me know if you need me for anything, and I'll holler at you later.
I shall. All right. Thanks for
All right.
inviting me.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Listen, y'all already know. If y'all my friend, y'all know it's 9:54 and I gotta go because basically the news is getting ready to come on, and I gotta go and get situated and get relaxed so that I can watch the news because it's important to me to see what's going on in the city. Now I already know somebody got shot, somebody got robbed, somebody got ran over because nobody don't look both ways when they crossing the street no more. It just crossed the street. So I can promise y'all on everything I love, somebody got hit by a car. Boom. I can tell you anything I love. Something that happened. It's 9:55. Gerard, I want to thank you for tuning in. Lynette Day, Tim Kitchen. Tim. Oh, I thought you was your daddy. I was like, I don't know how your daddy made me nervous when he come in. I ain't been feeling well. He can't have a body. I'm trying to live. Just joking, Tim. But again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on the live and the replay. Listen, these are nuggets that you're going to need to succeed in the industry when you're building your radio brand, your radio business. Please, a lot of times we skate past things like this and we don't listen to them. When it's time for us to really want to get into the business, we don't know. It's like, you don't know. So when you have people like Radio Robyn, Connie Bird, Gerard, Michael Lee, Purvis, who else was on here that just some of the people that I'm telling you, Broderick, that can come in and help you grow in the business and build relationships. They're seeing your names, Robert Craig, when they're seeing your when they're seeing your name and you're engaging, now they know who you are when they see you in person. So again, I gotta go, gotta get up out of here, y'all. Y'all, listen, I love all y'all. I mean it. I don't just be saying this to be saying this. I actually love y'all. I mean it, and I'll be seeing y'all on the flip side. Again, it's Miss King, and I'm out.